This is a video about the Momentum Lab. The purpose of this lab is, with an elastic collision between two marbles, given the mass of one of the marbles, find the mass of the second marble using conservation of momentum. First marble hits second marble, both roll on. When the first marble is rolling, it has some initial velocity. You're going to have to find that. The second marble has an initial velocity too. Of course, initial velocity is 0. After they hit, they have a different velocity. So then the first marble will have some velocity prime. The second marble will have some velocity prime. If we go back to the purpose is to find the mass of the second marble. That's going to be your unknown. The next part of the lab is writing up the procedure. First step of your procedure is to get a pair of marbles and record what marble pair you have. After you've gotten your marble, you're going to videotape the collision. Now, I've got some suggestions for you on how to videotape this stuff. And these suggestions are going to be in letters. You don't have to write these down. You just need to keep them in mind. So these A, B, C, and D, don't write in your procedure unless you really want to. The first one is I'd have the heavy marble hit the lighter one. And I would also suggest going to the right. The next thing is you need to use the HD 60 setting on your camera. Next suggestion is don't have that shooter marble, the first marble, going too slow. If it goes really, really slow, friction becomes a factor and we don't have an isolated system and you're not going to get a good result. And finally, the last thing is keep the camera still. Avoid the temptation to follow the action. After you videotape the collision, you then have to transfer the video to the computer. I know you all know how to transfer the video to the computer, but just in case, some suggestions. Remember, you first turn the camera off, then you connect the flash drive to the computer, then you turn the camera on, open the removable drive on the computer, locate DCIM folder, locate your video, move video over to the desktop, consider renaming the video, remove the camera, and be sure to save the video to your Z drive. Next step, open the Tracker program on the computer. Next step, import the video to Tracker. You remember how to import a video to Tracker. Open up Tracker, find the video drop down. Hit import, find your video, and it takes a minute, and there it is. Put your cursor anywhere in the picture, right click, find the zoom, zoom to fit. The next thing you want to do is actually play the video to make sure everything is good. Next step, edit the tape to the area of interest. You only want to use the part of the video where both marbles are on the screen, before, during, and after the collision. So what you're going to do is you're going to locate where you want to start the video. You're going to pull the start triangle to the correct point. You're going to locate where you want to end the video, pull the end triangle to the correct point. Okay, I've got my video here. I started up. The marble's sitting there. No other marble. Oh, there goes the other marble. Okay, I wanted to start with both marbles on the screen. It's kind of hard to get to the exact point. I'm going to step it. Okay, I've got this marble on the screen. I've got this marble on the screen. This particular videotape, by the way, has a few problems because they didn't use HD 60. That's why this thing is blurry. All right, I'm going to move this triangle right over to here. That's my start point. I'm going to play it. I'm going to use this to back up a little bit. I'm going to be tracking the marble at the very front end, so I want to make sure the front end is still on the video. So then I'm going to move this over to here. Reset, play, looks good. The next thing you're going to do is track marble 1 using the leading edge from the start to the end of the video. You remember how to track. You're going to use the pull-down menu of tracks, create a new point mass. To make the tracks, you're going to move the cursor over the point you want to track, hold the shift down, right-click the mouse. Computer will automatically advance the video to the next frame, and you continue doing that until the end of the video. First thing is I go to tracks, hit the pull-down menu. I'm going to make a new point mass. I have mass A. I find the leading edge of it, hold my shift key down, click, it moves on, and I just keep doing that all the way through till the end of the video. After you've tracked marble 1, you want to reset the video and track marble 2, again using the leading edge from the start to the end of the video. And just like before, you're going to do that by using the pull-down menu of tracks, create a new point mask, make the tracks, move the cursor over the point you want to track, hold the shift down, right-click the mouse, computer automatically advances the video to the next frame. Go to track, new point mask, find the leading edge, hit it, and click. Now, mask B isn't moving, folks, so the first couple of tags are going to be pretty boring. The next thing you're going to do is set up the axes. You really want to have the origin as your first point, and you remember how to do this. Using the drop-down purple axes button, drag the origin to where you want it, line up the horizontal axis with the track to increase accuracy. Purple axes button, click. I would really like this on my first point. The next bit of the procedure is to set up the calibration stick. You're going to use the drop-down blue measuring button, drag the ends of the calibration stick to a measurable start and end point, a known distance, and input what that distance is. Blue measuring drop-down button, hit calibration stick. I've got my calibration stick right here, and now I need a known distance, and I need it in meters. Oh my goodness, look, I'm videotaping a ruler. The ruler has markings on it. I just have to drag it over. I've dragged my calibration sticker so it's across 10 centimeters. Once I've dragged it between the amount that I'm measuring, I need to tell it how long that is. That's 10 centimeters to meters, so that's 0.10 meters. The next step is to copy the time and the X position data into graphical analysis for marble A. You're going to go to the lower right-hand table button in Tracker, select Mass A data, select and copy the time and distance data, open up graphical analysis, and copy the data into columns. So down here, where we have the data listed, we want Mass A. We want to take the time and the X position data. That's all we want. So I'm going to highlight T, X, go all the way down here. I'm going to copy. Now I have to open up graphical analysis. Got graphical analysis open. I'm going to go ahead and click on that first thing and just paste. The next step is you're going to copy the X position data into graphical analysis for marble B. Again, you're going to go to the lower right hand table button, select Mass B data, select and copy the distance or X data, open up graphical analysis, create a new manual column, and copy the data into the new manual column. At the table, I'm picking Mass B. I only need the X position data. I don't need the time again. I don't need my Y. I just need my X. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. In graphical analysis, I only have 2 columns. I need another one. I go to Data, New Manual Column. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to paste it. Once you've got all the data into graphical analysis, the next thing you're going to do is format the graph. To do that, you're going to have to label all of your columns. You're going to have to pick your display by going to the graph options, and you want the A marble and B marble distance data on your y-axes as dependent variables, and have the time show on your x-axis as the independent variable. When I transferred the data over from Tracker, it included some information cells. It told me this was Mass A and the time. This is also Mass A, and it's the X position or distance. This is Mass B, and that's the X position. Before I eliminate those cells, I want to be sure and label my columns. The first column is just time, and its units, of course, are seconds. The second column and its units are meters, if you did it correctly. Highlight these first header cells and delete them. But you look at the graph, and we only show this one red line. We want to see marble A and marble B. So to do that, I need to right-click anywhere on the graph, go to Graph Options, over here, Axes. I want marble A and marble B to be on my Y column. And then I want to Analyze, Auto Scale from 0, and I've got them up there. The next part of the lab is where we analyze all that data and figure out what we got. When you start to analyze, you want to go back to the purpose. What is the purpose of this lab? What do we want to do? Well, in the end, we want to find the mass of the second marble. using conservation of momentum. In order to use the conservation of momentum equation, you're going to have some velocities. So, in the analysis section, we better be finding velocities. Our first step in analysis is to determine the before and after velocities. It is to select the area of the graph before the collision. You're going to get a best fit line. You're going to use the slope to determine the velocity of marble A and marble B. You want to select where the collision occurred. Marble B was sitting perfectly still. Its position was not changing, and then all of a sudden it starts moving. So the first 4 data points is before the collision. I'm going to highlight the graph for that area. Then I'm going to go up to linear fit, and I want a linear fit on both marble A and marble B, and I hit OK. So what I've got here, by highlighting the graph first, it only did a linear fit for those 4 points. So for marble B, my slope, which is its speed, because it's the slope of a position time graph, marble B's slope is 3.116 times 10 to the minus 16th. Okay, I'm pretty sure that rounds to 0. My slope for marble A was 0.544 meters per second, which looks more reasonable. So you're going to need a place to record your information, and again, I want you to record it to 3 digits to the right of the decimal. You know what 3 digits to the right of the decimal means, don't you? It looks like that. So 3 places to the right of the decimal is this number here, which is of course 0. So you're going to select the area of the graph after the collision, get the best fit line, and use the slope to determine the velocity of marbles A and B. And then you're going to record it to 3 digits to the right of the decimal. Graphical analysis. Now I'm going to select where the collision first happened to the very end. Then I go up to linear fit, I hit OK, and I now have a best fit line for marble B after the collision, and I have a best fit line for marble A after the collision. And from their slope, I can find out what the velocity is after it. Notice slope, 0.3338 meters per second. Meters per second. That's the speed of marble B after the collision. Okay, the next thing you do is use conservation momentum to determine the missing mass. You've got the velocities. Okay, you're going to use your equation m1v1 plus m2v2 equals m1v1 prime plus m2v2 prime to figure out what m2 is. You've done your purpose, you've written up your procedure, you've collected the data, you've got the analysis, you're going to write your conclusion, you're going to say that the mass of marble B was whatever it was. Now, I'm going to grade you on how accurate you were using all of your information. So if you didn't use HD 60 way back at the beginning, if you did lousy tracks way back at the beginning, then you're not going to do as well in this lab. So be careful. Take your time. Do it well. Now that you're finally done, you're going to turn in 3 things. 1, the written procedure. 1 procedure per group. Make sure your names are on it. Be sure that you have the analysis in there and the conclusion in there, as well as the full procedure. 2, graphical analysis stuff. I want to have a separate data table printout, and I want to have the graph with both lines showing up on it and all 4 linear fits showing up on it. So there'll be 2 separate pieces of paper for graphical analysis, the data table and the graph. And finally, I want you to print out the tracks of the marble. Make the video invisible so we don't have to look at the ruler and stuff. I just want to see the tracks of the marble all the way through, both. Staple it together, turn it in. Thank you very much.